It was around 7 years ago where I made a big choice in my life, and it completely changed everything in my life. I was not ready for what was coming at all. I've been asking around all my successful friends, all the entrepreneurs that I feel like you're very inspiring. I just want to know what you think about doing things before you're ready for it. And I want to ask the question, what if making the decision to do things you're not ready for is the actual thing that makes you ready? And what if this is the way we should live our lives, but we got it all wrong? We're waiting for something, we're waiting for that inner thing, we're waiting for that like a readiness. Like, have you ever felt ready for anything? If you're ready for something, it means that it's too easy because you've done it too many times. Around 7 years ago, a guy came up, around 7 years ago, a guy came up to me and he had seen me when I was working in a store. Somehow his friends of a friend have said that, yeah, that guy is a social and happy guy. You can talk to him. And he asked me to join the car industry, to be a salesman in the car industry. And that was the first time in my life that I can remember that I made a choice that was just like, I was just not fucking ready for it. I was not ready to do sales. I didn't know anything about cars. I didn't like cars. I didn't like anything about selling stuff or people. I didn't like anything. But what that put me through, yes, it was horrible. The first year, it was horrible. I had to learn everything from the start. But slowly and steadily, I was learning more and more and more and more. And at year 4 or year 5, I broke the record in the sales company with the amount of cars in a month. Even if I'm not in the car industry anymore and I left it because I realized this is not what I want to be doing in my life, it's not what's exciting for me anymore. It was at that time for a while, but it put me down in a journey that, all right, what if I don't have to be ready for everything? Like, what if I can just throw myself out and figure it all out? What if I can create a podcast? What if I can make a YouTube? Yes, everyone might judge me, they might not judge me, I won't even know about it because they will do it behind closed doors, so I don't really care. But what if I can do these things and just figure them out down the road? And I think looking back for now and like the way I'm living my life right now in this moment is that's just the way I do it. I throw myself out, I fuck everything up, and I learn really fast. And then I get better and better and better. And I was thinking, all right, maybe that's just something that I think is something that's helpful for me. So I started asking some of my friends, and one of my closest friends, Susie, she's had her business now for like 10 years and traveling around the world, living this amazing life, very inspiring woman. I'll actually read these messages that I got. I asked, what's your thoughts about doing things before you're ready? When there's a lot of resistance, but you also really want to do it. Like launching something big, quitting your job too early. And she said, I think that's what all successful entrepreneurs live by. And it was just like, okay, yeah, all right, maybe that was a stupid question. For me, when I started whatever I've started, I didn't know that this was something normal. I thought that you should learn, and then go ahead and launch whatever you want to do. And we hear it sometimes. Some people will say that you should do it like that. And then I asked another friend, Maria, she's multi-business owner, and she said the best things I've ever experienced in my life are everything I did before I allowed my mind to process the thought. Is it good? Should I? Do I have the resources? Is it crazy? Starting her company, her helicopter license, going to Bali, coaching school, psychology studies. She just decided, I'm gonna do it. That's the way she lives her life. And then we have Aiden, which is another really inspiring guy, and he was in the Marine or Navy, I don't know, I think it was the Marines for 6 or 8 years in the US Army. And he says, it always comes back to how do you feel? If it feels good and it's exciting I would say is fear and fun, scary and funny. It's an indicator from the universe to make the move, regardless if it makes logical sense, but you have to use your own discernment. It's also your decision to make, and it's the intention you give it that gives the specific action power. What reality do you want to experience? This is like what it all boils down to. It's like, what do you want to experience? It goes back to everything I always talk about. What stories are you telling yourself? What kind of life are you telling yourself that you're worthy of? What do you think is possible? If you think It's possible to go and live in Bali. Okay, now it sounds like I'm bragging. Have your dream house, have your dream partner, run your own business, be happy every day, go to yoga every day, spend time with your friends for fun at any time that you want, have freedom. If you believe that's true, well, you can have that. I see it everywhere. I've been having it, but I think sometimes I don't allow myself to see the reality I'm living. That I'm like, oh yeah, but it's because of this, but it's because of this. I'm trying to explain to myself why I am where I am. But for the fact that matters, I've been here on and off Bali the last 3 years. And I've created that reality because I believed in that, like, that's the way I want to live my life. And you can too. To bring it back to another story. So this thing about diving into things before I was ready, it just started like launching stuff in my life, and I haven't thought about it consciously, but now I started to see this is just how I'm gonna do it, because that's how I figure things out the easiest way or fastest way. If I can just sit through that pain of this fear of like, oh fuck, people are gonna judge this, it's not gonna be good, that's okay. So bringing it back to that story is when I left to Bali, 6 months ago when I left to Bali, I had 1.5 months of living expenses on my bank account. I had that. I never told anyone. Yeah, I think I told my housemate. I would never tell my parents. Now I can joke about it. But when I got to Bali, I had 1.5 months of living expenses. I didn't know how to create that money. Had no idea. But fact of the matter, I was not ready to quit my job. And I had actually planned to quit my job in December instead of doing it in March or April. But I did it before I was ready. And that kind of made me ready. That was the action that I had to take to become ready, to change my mind. And my housemate said, he's like, when you're at a place where either I get money or I die, the way he says is, it's like your mind will come up with ways of getting that money. There's no other way. And I say, yeah, universe will always figure itself out for you. It will show you, give you your hands. Like if you're drowning, there's always gonna come 2 boats and a helicopter before you drown. This is the way life has always worked out for me. And sometimes you will just say, no, I don't want the boats, no, I don't want the helicopter, and then you have to drown and get saved again before you understood that I was drowning and I needed help. But now you understand, you got out of there, and now you maybe won't swim when there's a storm. Maybe you're sitting there now, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of want to do that, but I don't have money for it, or I want to do that, but I don't have this. I don't feel ready, I can't speak English, I don't know. But you just understand, we go back to the stories that we talk about in the other podcast, is this the story you want to be telling yourself for the rest of your life? What would be the result if you continue to think this thought in 5 or 10 years? Are you going to stay at the exact same position that you are now and be miserable about your life? Then maybe it's a good time to just think about, okay, maybe I should change that story. Maybe I should create a new story that's more empowering and more, maybe that just also means that you need new friends, or you need a new environment, you need new thoughts. You need to create new thoughts. Because you're always thinking that, oh, I can't do it, I can't afford it. And the only thing you're gonna get is more not being able to afford it, Coolest part about this is now that I've understood this concept, and that you can actually live your life like this. You can think that, all right, I know these people are gonna judge me, I know it's not gonna feel nice, I know like my boss is not gonna like this, my family's not gonna like it, but this is what I want to be doing, and I want to fail at it as fast as I can, so I can learn from it. Or I'm gonna find someone who's done this that can like hold my hand through this journey, which is also a good way, a good reason why we have coaches, so you don't have to do it alone. But the thing is, if you just continue to do that, the way I see myself and the way I see my success in the coming years is like there's no way of failing. If I continue the way I'm doing now and always taking more and more scary, exciting steps towards what's very exciting for me, like right now, I wanna launch my More to Life clothing, I wanna do more podcasts, I wanna give as much value as I can. I know if I continue to follow that excitement and fail in public, make shitty videos, learn from those, get some input, maybe even get someone that like will come up to me in the street and say, that's actually so shit, like I didn't like what you said about that, and learn from these things, take the input and apply it for my next videos. All the wisdom that I can get, collect that wisdom from the people that likes my stuff and hates my stuff, and understand like where can I actually provide this value. And I just know it's going to be more and more and more and better and better and better, because I'm going to be able to speak better. I can't even speak English sometimes. I'm going to be able to speak better. I'm going to be able to make better videos. I'm going to make it more engaging. And people are going to be more connected with these stories, because I'm going to learn more about stories. I'm going to learn more about how to create emotions in the stories, because I'm willing to fail, because I'm willing to do these things while I'm not ready for it. And I invite you to just do this thing now. Sit down and think about one thing. It could just be one thing. And it's this thing that you kind of want to do, but there's so much stuff that that would never ever work. And just think about, what if you would just start with that? What if you would put not a timeline, never a timeline, I don't like timelines, and put this thing as, all right, I want to get this done. Just forget about the stories for a second. What would that look like for me? What would be the scary stuff that I had to go through? What would be the emotions that I have to go through? What would be the fears that I have to go through? What could people say about this? Do I even have to tell people about this? All right, maybe it's something, let's say it's something about public creation. All right, I have to create in public. I have to let go of my fear of judgment. I have to let go of my fear of not being perfect. I have to let go of fear of looking weird on camera. I want you to start thinking about all the pleasure that you would feel, and maybe even your partner would feel, your family would feel, if you would succeed with this. Even if they don't see the whole road ahead, the whole road to get there. Maybe I have to go down and quit my job. Maybe I will be without money for a while. Maybe I'll go bankrupt for a while. Maybe I'll go this. Maybe I'll fail a couple of times. I'll have to restart. Maybe I'll have to create a new idea and I'll fail again, and everyone will tell me that, all right, you can't do this, you should give up. Imagine the pleasure of getting to that other side and like, all right, I've done this. Because I was doing it before I was ready. I wasn't ready, I didn't have money, didn't have this, but I started here and I just started walking. I just started slowly walking towards where I wanted to go, to follow my excitement, and that's just how I went here. And that's the story I'm gonna tell. That's the exact story I'm gonna tell. Everyone told me that, all right, bro, you failed like 35 times now. And you changed your strategy. You don't want to do this. I don't even know who you are anymore, because you're changing your personality all the time. You're doing this, you're doing that. And I think you should give up. But I'm like, no, like I'm figuring it out. I feel like I have figured it out, and I'm always going to figure it out. I'm always going to get new wisdom, new information, and new people around me that can help me towards a new step of finding who I am and finding what I want to share. And the only thing I know is that More to Life is going to be one big part of that, that's just going to bring everything together. And if that's part of that is I want to create a university in 10, 15 years. But that's not now. That's when the excitement takes over and like, all right, let's go that way now. Now I want to create a clothing brand, a really nice clothing brand that makes people feel amazing when they wear the clothing. So what's the big step that you're just waiting for? And I just wanted to take that step now. Like, create as much good emotions as you possibly can, find the pain of not doing it, and just take that step, because you're never going to be ready. You're never going to be ready. And you can just stop this video, you can go on with your life, whatever, or you can actually fuck it. I'm not even going to say Amadeus changed me, but I'm going to say that day I changed my mind. I didn't care what people said anymore. It was fucking scary. It was so scary, but I did it anyways. And again, understand that you're never alone. There's not one person that I know that if they're further ahead of you and you say, I want to do this, I'm shit scared, what's your tips? They're gonna help you, 100%. If you DM me, I'm gonna help you if you're scared. I'm gonna break down the stories with you. I'm gonna help you just break it down and understand where does these stories come from. Is it yours? Is it your parents? Is it the society's stories? You can create anything that you can believe in your mind. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. If that's gonna take you 1 year or 5 years or 2 months, doesn't matter, but you can do it if you just believe that you can do that thing. I believe, and this is why I sit here now with confidence telling you to just dive out and do the scary fucking shit, because you're never gonna be ready. Just trust me on that one. And reach out to people that are further ahead of you and just get their guidance, because everyone been through this. This is the entrepreneurial life. This is finding health, finding happiness, finding anything is about just doing things, fucking around and finding out, and just changing that again and doing it again and again and again and again. Most of the time I don't see any failures as failures anymore. I just see it as an opportunity to see where I did something that didn't work. Oh, and also, what if maybe it didn't work for me now, but it will work for me later? So even those failures that I've had, they've taught me a lot. Even if I went 6 years on a career path that I'm not on now, I've learned about sales, I learned about marketing, I learned about how to talk to people, I learned about so many other stuff that I was doing at the same time. It was never a failure, it was just setting me up for more and more things, which I now can look back on and even use for giving value to other people. All right, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great evening and lots of love. And stay sexy.